Let's hear from the newest member of the Cobra Kai dojo from yesterday, talking about his contract negotiations and what he is looking to achieve.
I'm involved. That's, it's in the works. That's not really something that I like to play out in the media. That's something, just the way I think they want to do business, I want to do business. We prefer to keep that between us. Whenever you have guys on the team that need to be paid, that's always on your mind. You want that to be a focal point, and so we're working to make that happen. I'm pretty clear on what I want and in the contract and what I think is best for myself and the team. And so, we're on the road to making that happen. You got to have good players. You can't. It doesn't matter how good your quarterback is if you don't have good players around him. You're not going to be a very good team.
2 words: cap percentage. See, I'm always looking for the first guy to do it, so that's my bias when I process the information. But when he says, I know what I want and we're working toward it, I know what I want, what he should want is cap percentage, because that is the ultimate fair way to leave money behind and protect yourself against the ever-increasing salary cap. I was talking to someone about this recently who isn't an ardent, zealous, obsessive, everyday fan of the NFL. And those are the folks who are the most susceptible to, I can't believe Lamar Jackson is making $52 million a year.
I know.
I can't believe Jalen Hurts is making $51 million a year. What are they doing to deserve that? Well, they happen to be performing the most important job for a sport that has more than enough money to pay it. And we only ever talk about what the players are getting. We're not talking about how much money is getting crammed in the coffers of the owners.
Annoying.
They're the ones buying the super yachts, not the players.
Right.
So forget about the dollars. I think this is an easier way to do the conversation. It's not about dollars. It's about percentage. Whatever your cap is, whatever it is, 15%. You got 85% left. 85 cents on every dollar to put the team around me. That's fair. Whatever that number is, 15, 15.6275, 16.1381, they'll make it some long convoluted number to make it look like they really hammered it out and it was really the product of a tough negotiation. But that's the fair way to do it. You carry that forward. The sport keeps growing. The money keeps going up. The cap keeps increasing, and you keep making more money. And you're not in a situation where you've got every 3 years, like the Chiefs are going to have with Patrick Mahomes, where they got to go back to the table and figure this out, because it's become embarrassing to everyone that Mahomes is at 45 and the market has passed him by $7 million a year. Burrow needs to bake into his contract a protection against that. Sign a 10-year extension and put that in there so you don't have to keep coming back saying, hey, we got a problem here. We got a problem here. I'm not being fairly compensated in relation to what the sport is generating. And one more point, Chris, because this dawned on MDS last week when we were participating in the conference call where they talked about the schedule. When Mike North, the NFL's VP of broadcast planning, was talking about how much the scheduling hinges on where the great quarterbacks go. There's a value to the quarterbacks above and beyond their teams.
Yes.
There's a value to the sport.
The whole league, right.
To the league.
Right.
There's a common value. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to be? We got to get those games in primetime. Where's Tom Brady going to be? Oh, he retired. Well, sorry, Tampa Bay. Oh, he unretired. Well, welcome back, Tampa Bay. The great quarterbacks are the ones that drive this bus.
Yes.
They should get more. Whatever they're getting, they should get more. I suggested over the weekend there should be a separate fund that compensates the guys who help drive where the games are going to be played, when the games are going to be played, that they have a value to the sport separate and apart from their value to the team.
Right. You could give 2 or 3 guys on every team, they get this special franchise exemption where maybe their salary only counts 70% against the cap, right? Something like that. What you're saying, I think, is for the big superstars that are driving TV ratings in the market and all that. I hear you on all of it, Mike. I do. I mean, the Burrow, the percentage of the overall salary cap. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. It does. Now the thing I thought I want to ask you, Mike, and I wonder if this is happening a little bit, and this goes back into, the Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson conversation. Do you think there's kind of a handshake, wink, wink agreement with owners that just don't want to go down this road for some reason that maybe I'm not thinking of or you're not thinking of right now, and they want to put a kibosh on it?
I think they just don't want to do it for the same reason they don't want to do fully guaranteed contracts. They don't want anything that gives the players more power and flexibility. They just don't want it. They don't want cap percentages. They don't want a system where every year player pay is adjusted because the cap keeps going up. They don't want that. They want to lock guys in to long-term deals at set numbers, knowing that the cap is going to keep going up, knowing that those deals get better for the team the longer it lasts.
Right.
Remember there was a dynamic years ago where the Eagles would identify great young talent. I remember they did it to, was it Sean Andrews? Remember the offensive lineman Sean Andrews? Winston Justice was one of their offensive linemen.
Right.
Or was he there was a defensive tackle, Mike, can't remember his last name, defensive tackle for the Eagles. They would sign these guys to ridiculous long-term deals, dangle the money, because it used to be you could do it 2 years after a guy was drafted, not 3. Dangle more money than they ever thought they would make playing football, sign them up for like 10 years, and then as time goes by, this deal stinks.
Yeah.
And their attitude was, too bad, you signed it. That was the Joe Banner attitude in Philly. Too bad, you signed it. And what happens? You got to mess with all these players who, yeah, I signed it, but what the hell? Why'd you offer that to me? You knew that in 3 or 4 years, I wasn't going to be happy with the deal. So you want me to be pissed off in the locker room for the next 5 years? I mean, it was not an ideal way, let's say, of constructing a team. But I think the league likes that dynamic where guys are locked into a set amount and the cap keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah, I would agree.
So those dollars keep going relative to everything else down and down and down.
Right. And then if a player's, unhappy and they still want the player, then they just throw a big chunk of cash at them and a signing bonus or something else, and that still really probably benefits it benefits the team in the long run. I don't know, it's going to be
Mike Patterson, by the way.
Mike Patterson. I'm going to be super excited to see
long-term deal.
Burrow's contract. I am. I mean, one, because of the reasons we're talking about. 2, I still expect it to break records here. I would think this is going to surpass everybody. I would think it's going to surpass Lamar Jackson, right? And that's where I'm excited just to see the overall number and the structure of the contract, but also, yeah, how much money does he leave for the 2 other stars at the receiver position?
Well, that is the key, and you need to have the other guys on board with it. And, here's the problem, and this may be why teams don't want to do cap percentage. The moment that river is crossed, you're going to pull other guys across it with you.
Definitely.
What if Jamar Chase says, I like that too. I'll take 8.375%. T. Higgins says, I like that too. I'll take 7.62%. But it really is fair because as the game grows, the salaries grow. It ain't going this way. It's going this way, up and up. Why not let the key players benefit from that? And you'd have to build protections in, and there would be ways to manage the cap charge. But the bottom line is your pay each year is determined by your set percentage of the cap as your minimum. You can have a set number or a cap percentage, whichever is greater. So you get that protection if it goes up. You still have your baseline number in your contract, but if the cap percentage is higher than that, that's the number you get. It wouldn't be that hard to do if a team really wanted to do it. And I think the Bengals are a candidate to do it because Mike Brown has that contrarian streak. If all the owners want to go this way, he just likes to go the other way just to keep him honest. I think I like Mike Brown. He goes the other way, not necessarily for any reason. I've heard owners complain about it. He votes against everything. He's like Mikey from the Life cereal commercial. That is a dated reference. Mikey won't eat it. He hates everything. Mike Brown's always voting against everything. So maybe he'll give him a little twist.
Mikey likes Joe Burrow. I know. We know that.
Well, and they want to do whatever they have to do.
Right.
I mean, think about this. Mike Brown was never going to sell the naming rights to the stadium that bears the name of his father, Paul. It was always going to be Paul Brown Stadium. He and Jerry Jones, 12, 13 years ago, got into a huge fight over that. his refusal to sell the naming rights to the stadium. You know what he did? And he recently sold the naming rights to the stadium. Why?
Yeah.
Need the money to pay Joe Burrow. They didn't come out and say it, but it was obvious. They need the cash. They have a good team now. See, Mike Brown, for a long time, I believe, this is me expressing an opinion, so please don't sue me, Mike Brown. My opinion has been he really doesn't care about winning a Super Bowl. He understands I'm winning every year. I'm making a huge profit. I'm going to run this like a business. I'm going to make as much profit as I can. Hey, if one of these years it all falls into place and we win a Super Bowl, so be it. But I'm still going to make a ton of profit. With Joe Burrow, that's forced his mindset to change. And it has, to his credit. Well done, because you weren't going to keep Joe Burrow if you didn't change your mindset. I guarantee you of that. And that's the question. Can they put an offer on the table that gets Joe Burrow to commit for the next 10 years? Because they want it. I think he wants it, but the numbers have to be right.
Yeah, the numbers got to be right. I think they will be. I mean, come on. He's Joey Ohio, you know? I can't imagine. It just seems like the match made in heaven, and the Bengals have never been cooler because of Joe Burrow. And, we'll see where it goes. But I'm certainly expecting a record-breaking contract when it's all said and done.
I know our friends out there who are Bengals fans, they may be happy with some of the things we've said today because we're trying to help solve their contractual problems in one fell swoop. This is a line from Playmakers, the book that I was selling last year and would still like you to buy, but, I'm pushing the other one. I'm pushing Father of Mine a little harder this year. But one of the lines in Playmakers, and it's 100% accurate, sourced with knowledge of the situation. If Joe Burrow was from Athens, Georgia, and not Athens, Ohio, he would have refused to play for the Bengals. He would have been the next in the line of John Elway, Eli Manning. It would have been Joe Burrow, but for the fact that he was from Ohio. So it all worked out perfectly. They've got him, but they got to keep him because he's not signed a lifetime contract yet, and they need to dangle that carrot to get him to do it, and maybe it's going to take a cap percentage.
There he is. Can you handle that?
Oh, there we go.
Look
Here
at
we
that.
go.
Damn.
Wow.
Joey put him in a body bag.
The leg. Now, who is Ralph Macchio in this equation? Is it Patrick Mahomes? I guess it is.
Damn, I don't know.
Everybody likes it.
Well, I guess you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I think it is.
So. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's got the what do they call the pose that he does? The crane or whatever at the end?
The crane.
The crane, right.
The crane.
He's got the crane to just keep winning. He somehow finds ways to break out the crane to win the Super Bowls.
I still, 40 years later, Pete said we need to take a break, but just indulge me here. 40 years later, I still don't understand how the move works. I'd like to get up and demonstrate it. Where you put your hands up, you put one leg up in the air, and I guess the whole idea is
to fake the one with the air.
Well, no, but your leg is up in the air, and you're doing this, right? You're doing this, hands up, leg up, and does your opponent come over and like, what's going on here? And when your opponent leans in, that's when you kick him with the other leg. That's the only thing. It still makes no sense that should work unless it's some sort of a weird booby trap where your opponent believes you are having a moment, and he steps forward to see if you're okay. You kick him with the other foot.
Hey, well, exactly.
Boom.
I guess it's about
there
faking with that one that's up. He fakes with that one up, but I don't get it either. Hey, you just listen to Mr.
What
Miyagi.
Are you gonna do? Let it keep rolling.
If Miyagi does it, then Danielson does it. Okay? I don't know.
What are you going to do with the foot that's just dangling? That's what I don't get. And what are you going to do with your arms? They're straight up in the air. Anyway, it worked. It made for a great movie.
It did.
I think I need to go watch The Karate Kid after we're done today. Let's take a break. At a time when players are scrubbing teams from their social media accounts to send a message, one team has scrubbed a player from its social media account, which probably sends a message. More PFT Live right after we sweep the leg. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.